I did a vision board a while ago, and everything that I wrote down and drew and cut and pasted and everything into this vision board, a lot of it came true. And I didn't even realize until I actually thought about it. And I've been kind of seeing things that are really connected lately and hearing things that are really strangely connected. It's kind of like that thing when you buy a car or you're thinking about buying a car of a certain color and you start seeing that colored car everywhere. So I've really been thinking about the law of attraction lately, and I wanted to talk about it today. So the law of attraction is basically states something like this: when you focus on something, whatever you focus on intensely, that's what you will attract into your life, whether that be a negative thing or a positive thing. Wherever you focus your mind, that will manifest into reality. So when I say you can craft your own reality into Daydreamer, what I mean is you can really not only use the power of attraction or the law of attraction, but other forces like that, like feeling gratitude, that episode I did recently. You can really craft your own reality by thinking a certain way. So I truly believe that. My mum's actually a fortune teller. She's a spiritual teacher. And when I was young, I was growing up, I've been around her and all the advice that she gives to her students, and I'm kind of always like walking around the house or cooking or whatever. And she put on this show one day when I was younger. It's called The Secret. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard of this. It's a really, really cool show. So check it out if you haven't. It's all about the law of attraction. And ever since that day, it was in my head. And I started noticing over the years, because this was quite some while ago, that things started working. Like the law of attraction actually works. And it works such a strange way. We're really creating our own realities by what we think and how we feel and what we see in our mind's eye. So today I decided to make a vision board based on this idea. And the vision board is pretty much a board where you can do it a couple of different ways. You can cut and paste your ideas. You can grab a magazine and put it all together. Or you can just draw or write things down on a board. It's a visual interpretation of what you want to attract into your life. And that made me stop and think really deeply. And I think it's important to think about this sometimes. What exactly you want in this world, and be super specific about it so that you can figure out exactly what direction you want to be paddling that boat. But also, why it is you want that thing. So why you're heading into that direction, why you want to be heading into that direction. And sometimes even ask why again. I mean, after you answer that one and you ask, whoa, why is that a reason? Why is that reason good enough for me to head into that direction? I think it's important, because you can, after a couple of whys and after you really think about this question deeply, you filter out all the kind of superficial things, all the things that you think you might want. And you figure out, when you get to the root of what you actually want, you figure out whether or not, it's a valid reason to want that. And it helps you figure out what you want when you have this kind of thought experiment. And I think it's important to think about that. So I wanted to, have a chat about the law of attraction, and hopefully, if you're consciously putting it into practice in your life, if you're constantly, envisioning an outcome or a future kind of result, while obviously still living in the present and trying to enjoy every moment and enjoy the journey, because people always say they look back on the journey and that's kind of what they really enjoyed along the way, all the struggles and everything. So tackle everything, with a playful state, where you can learn things. But I still feel like it's important to do these things, and it's important to consider these things, like what do you really want and why you want that. And then it's really important to take action and work your ass off until you can really learn and grow and keep developing as a person, and you allow yourself to do that. So I think this is all very important stuff, and I wanted to talk about it, and I'm probably rattling on a little bit too much. Anyways, if you're watching this video on YouTube, I've got my YouTube channel. I'm sorry about the lighting, because The camera's not really meant for low light, but I've got 2 going, so hopefully it works out okay. If you're listening to the podcast, I might do like, I don't know, a chat like this every second week. And I was thinking maybe I'll do the regular podcast every second week. So at least there's content coming out every week. I've been a bit slack on it lately. There's been a couple of issues, but I've sorted them out. So there's some good episodes to come on the podcast. So next week, I've got Amrit Sandhu on the show. I've got a beautiful chat with Amrit, who's actually just an amazing person. He's a handpan player that I met, and we had a really interesting chat. I'm in Chile at the moment, and he was on his way to Brazil, I believe. And we had a really interesting chat, about meditation, mindfulness, and being aware of ourselves. That chat's coming up next week. So I guess I'm in this kind of vibe, and I'm really enjoying kind of considering where I want to go and putting that onto a vision board and, writing down my goals on a piece of paper, figuring out, formulating some kind of a plan so that I can achieve what I really want. And I'm getting clear on what I want. And I'm really happy about that. So I guess I just wanted to make this video, this podcast, and whatever piece of content, wherever you're consuming this, and just pose a question to everyone out there. And I really want you to answer this in the most truthful, honest way possible to yourselves. And that question is, what do you want out of your life? What do you want? What do you really want? If you had to describe it, paint that picture in your head, answer that question, and think about why. Anyways, I'm gonna leave you with that thought, and thanks for tuning in to wherever you consume this. Please, download, click subscribe on the podcast. I'm really trying to get this podcast going. So it's called The Good People Effect, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you can find a good podcast. It's all about surrounding you with the right people to help you grow in 3 main areas, which are adventure, purpose, and creativity. I'm going to be doing maybe a chat like this once every fortnight, and I'll go back to a regular show when I'm surrounding you with these awesome humans every second week as well. So check that out, and cheers for listening.